It has been a while since my last video, and as much as I would like to show a new niche build or teams I haven't tried out yet, there are still some things I still need to prepare, so instead, I decided to look back on my previous builds and see how I can improve them. I decided to look back on Burgeon Dehya, a simple build that utilizes her skill to trigger Burgeon. I've seen a lot of videos on Burgeon Dehya and noticed something that really puts me off. Why is no one using her burst in this build? The reason why people don't use Dehya's burst in Burgeon builds is because people that make videos on Burgeon Dehya would show or tell you to focus on building as much EM as possible, leaving her burst completely useless since it does little to no damage without crit. Hearing that I have to neglect her burst to do solid Burgeon damage doesn't sit right with me, because how can I allow the most badass part of her kit to be left out? As much as I like seeing Dehya exploring the entire field with one press of a button, I want to see more usage of her burst, and I think every Dehya main can agree with me on this. My goal for this video is utilizing Dehya's entire kit for both Burgeon and crit while still maintaining solid damage. After I explain the build and team, I will give more explanation on why it makes sense to build Dehya this way. Is Dehya's constellation necessary for this build? While C1 does help a ton with Dehya's damage, I'm about to say something controversial. I don't think you need C1 for this build to work, because you can easily lean more towards Burgeon since none of her cons affect her Burgeon damage. While I don't want to discourage anyone from building what they want, it's important that you take these facts into consideration so that you can find a build in the video that works best for you. If you listen and take my advice, you'll enjoy playing with this Dehya build despite not having C1. With that being said, let's get into the artifacts. To be able to use her burst effectively while still doing solid Burgeon damage, we must pick the best main stat for her build. If we want to do solid damage with Dehya's burst, we must go with pieces of the traditional DPS build with crit circlet and pyro cup. As for sands, we will go with EM for Burgeon. For substats, you will want to focus on crit, then you want some EM. Extra substats that is good to have is attack percentage and HP. I'll explain energy requirements much later in the video so this deserves its own section. Artifact choices for this video is Hunter, Emblem, Crimson, Gilded, Paradise, and Glow. If you really hate farming for artifacts, then going with 2-piece 80 EM combined with other 2 pieces like Attack, EM, Pyro, Energy Recharge should be okay enough, but don't expect great results as some of the artifacts passive benefits Dehya's kit a lot more than what you think. If you are asking which artifacts is the best one here, all of them have their purpose, and your choice should be based on preference and what you need most. To make things easier for everyone, I'll give a grade for each of these artifacts. Hopefully this will help you decide which artifacts you're going to use or farm for. I'll put a letter grade based on how much it affects Dehya's skill, burst, and Burgeon damage, with a quick artifact explanation so that you can understand how good these artifacts are. Hunter set is good for those who want to maximize crit damage, and you'll need a lot of crit damage to make this artifact comparable to others since their passives are a little more favorable for this build. Next is Emblem, and it's a great artifact for those who want to focus more on Dehya's burst, and it makes energy recharge substats a lot more useful since it helps increase burst damage. The Glow set is the best if you want to see the biggest numbers in their skill and burst damage. Crimson is the jack of all trades type of artifact, and it's a solid choice for those who want to see some improvement in her entire kit. Paradise Lost is the best if you want to see her biggest Burgeon damage. Gilded Dreams is a slight downgrade to Paradise Lost, but the benefits that this artifact has over Paradise Lost is its immediate presence in battle unlike Paradise, because it takes a bit of time to reach full stack to see better damage than Gilded Dreams. If you want my opinion on artifact choices, I favor Gilded because of its immediate presence in battle, and is in the same domain as the Deepwood set, which does affect Burgeon damage. Another artifact choice I like is Emblem, because I love seeing Dehya beat the living hell of her enemies with her flaming fists. C0 Dehya mains, I highly recommend going with Gilded or Paradise since none of her cons affect her Burgeon damage, but if you want to lean more towards burst, which I can understand since we all love seeing Dehya's burst in action, I suggest picking up Emblem so that you can burst often. Even though your damage will be less than C1 Dehya, At least you are making the best with what you got, and I commend you for it. I pray that you get C1 soon. Even though it's not needed to clear the abyss, you will feel the difference. Talking about the team comps, there is only one team that can make this build work at its best, and if I substitute the units I'm about to pick, it will defeat the purpose of the video. If you want ideas about other Dehya teams and builds you can use, refer to my other Dehya videos, and if you want more personal help, consider joining the Discord server in the description of the video. I recommend joining if you want the fastest way to reach me since YouTube notification system can sometimes be terrible. First teammate is Nahida, since she is the best Dendro unit for any Dendro reaction based teams while providing the on-fielder, 250 extra EM if Nahida's EM is 1000. Next is a Hydra unit. I want a Hydra character that gives buffs to the entire team while providing Hydra application to spawn Dendro cores for Dehya to proc Burgeon with, and I can see no other options other than Furna. As for the last unit, I'll give you guys time to think before I select the final unit. There are many units to choose from, but there's only a very selected few, if not only one, can make this truly work. The first option we usually see in Dehya teams is Bennett. Sure, he heals and provides buffs, but unfortunately he won't work here since we need someone with more off-field capabilities that enable reactions to make this work. What about Cookie? He heals, but it's not enough to maximize fanfare, and no resonance will be activated that would benefit our party. I know I showed a clip of Hyper Burgeon in the Dehya guide before, but I want to show what Dehya can really do when proccing elemental reactions on her own. That only leaves us with a Hydra unit. Spawn not only more Dendro cores, but enable Vaporize for our Dehya, because with enough Hydra application, Dehya can vape with her burst while also proccing Burgeon at the same time. But to make Dehya's burst strong, we need to maximize Furna's fanfare before Dehya uses her burst. Let's see our options. We need a Hydra unit that can provide off-field Hydra application that doesn't require auto attacks, and heals a ton for the team. So we can cross these units out for sure. I'm sure nothing will go wrong if we use Barbara in this abyss, right? There's no shot that this will work. Barbara is just gonna freeze the team every second. Like, the ice field will trigger it, alright? Alright, let's see how many times my team freezes it. One. You asked for it. Okay, how is Barbara not freezing the team every second? What? How? Respectable clear time, but I still don't understand why the team isn't perma-freezed. Okay, that was unexpected. I blatantly assumed that Barbara was gonna be so bad here since there was so much cryo stuff happening in this abyss. The fact that I checked this after making my entire script for this video made me look like a Barbara hater. Guys, I haven't posted a video for over 2 months and I really don't want to redo the entire last half of the script. So, how about this? We say that Barbara is a solid free-to-play option for your last slot, and we will continue the video as normal. Just a fair warning, it's gonna sound like Barbara doesn't exist, but hopefully you still enjoy the rest of the video. That leaves us with only one option, Kokomi. She's everything we need for this to work, healing for fanfare, and another off-field Hydra applicator to enable Dehya's elemental reactions. So now that we have the team lined up, do you see how they all benefit each other to make this work? Nahida having double Hydro may not benefit her in damage, but it makes her burst field last longer, which is important for the full rotation I'll be showing in the Abyss footage. Kokomi benefits from the Hydra Resonance, providing a lot more burst damage and healing while being a solid unit to spawn more Dendro cores, using her skill to make sure enemies are consistently wet, setting up Dehya for success. Furna benefits a lot here too, by not only being a solid sub DPS adding to the team's damage, but also buffs the entire team with her burst, pairing very well with Kokomi's insane healing and benefits from the Hydra Resonance as well. Finally, there's Dehya, who is the main character that holds the team together. The Hydra Resonance benefits her entire kit, especially if you have C1. With max fanfare, thanks to Ferna and Kokomi, with Nahida passing off 250 elemental mastery to Dehya, her damage becomes exceptional in both Vaporize and Burgeon damage. Making use of both reactions makes up for the ICD inner burst, which was one of the biggest issues in Dehya's kit when building Vape-focused teams. Dehya provides safety with her skill, so that the team can sub safely without being killed or interrupted. Her self-healing comes in clutch, as it can sometimes be the last bit of healing you need to maximize Ferna's fanfare. This team feels really good to play, because you're making use of everyone's entire kit, and I would argue that this is the most well-rounded team for Dehya right now. I won't spend too much time on the weapon since I already talked about it in my Dehya guide, and all that info applies here too. You can check out the weapon chapter of that video if you need more info for her weapon options. For those who have at least C2 Dehya, go with the best option you have available according to your current artifacts, but if you don't have C2, which I imagine that's where most of the Dehya mains are at, I highly recommend the Sacrificial Great Sword, as it helps with the uptime of her skill, and has a solid base attack with ER percentage as its main stat, giving you more chances to burst while it pairs well with Emblem. Even if you don't have high refinement, you are more likely to proc the weapon's passive anyway, since her skill gives you 2 chances to proc the weapon's passive for you to keep the Burgeon damage going, and that's crucial to have, especially to my C0 Dehya main since you probably won't have enough damage to finish off enemies with your burst. Now that we have the team, builds, and reasoning behind this team explained, I'll talk about the energy requirements. Technically, there are no ER requirements. I mean, this is a mixed Burgeon and DPS build. Why worry about your burst being up when you can swap to Kokomi proccing Burgeon with Dehya's skill, am I right? Okay, here's an actual answer if you want to see Dehya's burst in every rotation. I say around 140 to 160 ER should be enough, and it depends if your Ferna is using a Paulownia's weapon and how clean your rotations are. Then again, I don't think you need to worry much about energy when the team already generates so much and your Dehya is a mixed Burgeon DPS build that can Burgeon with her skill until your burst is up. Here is the rest of my team builds if you just want to exactly copy my builds. These builds work best for me, but yours might be different depending on the artifacts and available weapons you own. Ferna's weapon choice I like is Paulownia's, Festering Desire, and Fluorescendrifermen. Did I pronounce it right? And for artifacts, I like to use Golden Trope. Even though I could use Tenacity for showcase purposes, I'd rather do what's best for the team here. For Nahida, I use Sacrificial Fragments to give her the extra EM to get to 1000 EM, and I use Deep Woods to increase Burgeon damage. For Kokomi, I use Prototype Ember because even though Kokomi doesn't need that much more healing, the effect of it is nice to regain her burst fast, and the HP main stat goes well with her kit. For her artifacts, I'm using the Clamp set because it's the best set I got for Kokomi right now. I'm not sure if Song of Days is better here. I'll leave that to the Kokomi mains to explain in the comments section if they want to add that info in. Now that I explained almost everything, all that's left now is to convince everyone about this build in the Abyss Showcase. Hopefully you enjoy the Abyss runs.
You ain't messing around! Buckle up! Make yourselves at home! Yoo-hoo! Let my name echo in song! Rest rebuild! Lots off!
Cry.
I want to give my final explanation of why it makes sense to build Dehya this way now that you watched the Abyss showcase. When we saw Dehya's exceptional performance in the Abyss, it all starts to make sense now. Dehya is a jack of all trades, but a master of none, and to most people, it's seen as a bad thing because if a unit can't perform exceptionally well on one thing, it often leads to disappointment. But if you can make use of all her trades together with a little help from our allies, then she can be good as the master of one thing. I'm not trying to prove that she is better than anyone, I'm just proving that she can be good just as any other unit if you put the time into understanding her kit. I was gonna put a long speech about last year and give my own thoughts about Dehya until now, but I'll just sum it up to save everyone's time. When life gives you lemons, you make the best of what Dehya has. If Hoyoverse won't ever rework Dehya, then so be it. I'm still gonna main her because she is my favorite character of all time. If this video helped you in any way, make sure to like, comment, and consider sharing so that more people will see this video. And subscribe if you want to support the most passionate Dehya main out there. Here's another reminder that I got a Discord. It's the best place if you want to get video progress updates, personal help with building Dehya and some other characters too, and getting to know me and other members of the community. Thank you for watching, and I hope you win your next 50-50.